All right, good evening, everyone. Happy Monday night once again. So happy to have you here on The Living Force. We're going to get into some High Republic goodness tonight. We got a little mini book review of The Art of the Mandalorian and just some general chit-chat. We'll tell you all about some cool stuff happening, including a brand new podcast. But first, Wes, you got to punch it. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome into The Living Force. We are so happy to have you here tonight. Or if you're listening, we're happy to be with you this morning, this afternoon, this evening. I don't know. Do your homework, drink some water, go to bed. But before you do, I'm Eric Eilerson, one of your hosts. And joining me tonight to talk some Light of the Jedi goodness is Dr. Corey Helton. Hey, dude.
What is happening, guys? My dog is going crazy
right
as
on
I
cue.
get the intro. Right on cue. Yeah, that's Ray.
Good to see you, dude. You just got recovered from a 24-hour shift recently.
Yes, I've been on ICU rotation for a month, and I had a really more like a 28-hour shift yesterday. Pretty painful. My last one for ICU, thank God, but it was rough. We had some really, really sick patients last night, so I slept like an hour. So I came home and crashed hard.
We're happy to have you here at your very best. Glad you got through it, dude. And hopefully this will be slightly more relaxing. But joining us to make it that much sweeter, that much more comfortable, sensual even, Wes Jenkins!
What's going on, everyone? Sweet, comfortable, sensational. That's what I'm here for.
Wes, I realized something today watching the intro, that the intro to this show goes with the doctors, Dr. Corey, Dr. Charles, and it says with Eric Eilerson and Wes Jenkins. So we're basically like the with Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Like, I feel like that's like where you keep your like old veteran stars. So Corey and Charles are the new hotness, and me and Wes are Nick Fury and like Michael Douglas and Ant-Man.
Yeah,
or something.
that works.
That's fine. I'll take it.
Well, good. All I want to do is make you happy, but I also want to make people happy in the chat. I want to say a quick hello. Let's see. We got Meg is with us. Cheryl is with us. Charles is with us, even though he's on call. He's tuning into the show. We miss you, buddy. Heather's there. John is there. Warren 90. Hey, everybody. We're so happy you're here. As the show goes on, as always, keep the conversation going. Spice Den is here. Ooh, who just said I'm the Martin Sheen as President Bartlett. So you get 18 gold stars for making my heart really happy. Everyone, we have a great show for you tonight. But before we get into anything of substance, y'all, we have a very important birthday today. Did you know about this? Today is the birthday of our Jedi High Council founder, Patrick Ortiz.
Wow, I did not know that.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's what I got. Happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had another good trip around the galaxy. We're so happy to have you as part of this community, and I hope you just had a wonderful day. Patrick has been an OG Yutini supporter, and has just been basically around through every part of whatever we do here. So thank you, man. Want to wish you a happy birthday sincerely from all of us, and I hope the rest of your week is equally as wonderful. Next up, we have a little announcement that we want to make. Coming up in December, we have an event that we've been planning for quite a while, mainly because of the gloriousness of Mr. Andrew Bell, who is one of our favorite team members. I got to say, don't tell the other 29 team members. But we have something coming up called the Yutinis. And the Yutinis are basically an award show that Andrew and a bunch of us kind of came up with and decided that we need a way to formally celebrate everything that's gone on in Star Wars literature this year. It's been a hard 2020. It's been kind of a weird year for everybody, right? So why not have a day where we can actively celebrate and have a lot of fun with everything. So we have made up a bunch of categories. We made up some nominations, including Best novel of the year, best quote of the year, all kinds of things like that. And the Yutinis, the best part about this is you, the Living Force community, the Yutini community, get to vote on the winners. Our staff voted for some of their favorites, but now voting is officially open. If you're a part of the Yutini Facebook group, Heather put up a link there. In the announcements channel on Discord, there is a link there to a Google Sheet where you can just kind of scroll down. You can sign in with a Google account and vote for your favorites. Voting will end originally tomorrow, which would be the 24th. But right before this show, we didn't tell Andrew, but we all decided that was too soon because we want to hear what you see. We want to hear what you think, actually, and see what you see, know what you know, feel what you feel. We want to know who you want to win the Yutinis. So if you're listening to this, head over to either Discord, to Facebook, anything like that. Get your vote on. Make your voice heard once more in 2020. And Corey, we have a little bit of a special show planned for our Yutinis, do we not?
Yeah. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So Andrew kicked off this announcement for Yutinis. That's what you mean, right, Eric? You want me to talk about the Yutinis show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
what the actual episode is going to look like.
Yeah. So Andrew came up with this brilliant idea. What, like a year ago, right, Eric? It was a long time ago.
It's been a year.
Yeah, it was like around the Christmas party, I think, last year. And he was like, "Hey, I have this cool idea. We should do it." And basically, we're gonna have like an award show, like a Grammys, Emmys style award show for basically all the Star Wars content that came out this year, all the books and comics and stuff. So. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna host it live on the show for our regular podcast event on Monday, December 21st. We're gonna all dress up in suits. The theme will be a little different. I'm probably gonna get some audience tracks and stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're really gonna try to put on a for real award show. I would love to find one of those little. Eric, we talked about this week. One of those little mic box things that you put on a microphone. I have no idea what that's called.
Yeah, with the logo.
Yeah, somebody should tell me what that's called and send me a link. So we can have a little Yutini mic, and that'll be funny. I imagine there will be some speeches. We might get some more folks on the team to come in. That would be a lot of fun. So we're still putting together the details for that. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be on December 21st. And like Eric said, we originally had the voting ending tomorrow, I believe, but we're going to push that out to the end of the week because we've had some delay with getting the information out to you guys. So
get in there, vote for your favorites, and we'll have some fun bits. December 21st will be live, and if you're not normally a YouTube watcher, that's fine, but this may be one of them you might want to tune in to see the visuals. Speaking of visuals, Corey, can you please continue my favorite tradition we have on this show?
Yes, that is the Patron of the Week. Every single week we like to highlight one of our really awesome VIP members of our community on Patreon. It's if you haven't seen this already, our Patreon's got a ton of extra content. We have behind-the-scenes looks, exclusive merch. So if you haven't seen that already, head over to Yutini.com/Patreon or Patreon.com/Yutini and learn more all about that. So we have some more announcements about a new show coming up, which I'm excited on Patreon. And we launched our 8th podcast this week, guys. That's crazy.
It's wild. 8 shows.
8 podcasts. So I can't wait to tell you guys the details about that special 8th podcast, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Going to be on Patreon for a little while, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But this week, our patron of the week is Adrian. So Wes, you want to throw that up?
Hello, Yutini community. My name is Adrian Carlson, and I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, many of you may not know me because I'm not very active in the Discord community, but I am one of the OG Patreons. I found the Patreon page. I was one of the sneaky few that found it before it was even public, and I have donated since the beginning, and have donated ever since. I discovered Yutini through the Living Force podcast. I started with episode 4 shortly after Celebration Chicago, and I love that episode so much that later that night I went and listened to all the other previous episodes. What I love about Yutini is that while I listened to a lot of other Star Wars podcasts, it was the first podcast that was really discussing the EU and all the books and the comics as they came out. And this is where my heart lies. Since I was a little kid, I have always read the EU, and since about 2010, I've read every single book and comic that has come out since. My favorite Star Wars film has to be A New Hope. That's the movie that started it all. It's my favorite. It is the first movie I saw. I saw it back on VHS before even the special editions came out. And I'm a sucker for starship battles, so the trench run at the end, just fantastic. My question for you guys, now you'll have to get in touch with your sensitive side a little bit, is what Star Wars moment always makes you cry? For me, it's Darth Vader's death at the end of Return of the Jedi. When the Imperial Death March plays in that minor key and just the piano hits at the end, it gets me every time. Just tugs at the heartstrings. And every time I try to be strong, but if you look at me every time when watching that movie, there'll be a single tear running down my face. Well, that's all I have for you guys. As always, thanks for everything, and may the Force be with you.
Fantastic.
Oh man, lovely. And yeah, Adrian, thank you, dude. That was awesome. And yeah, like you said, an OG Yutini member. It's so great to hear from you. And you got rocking the original Yutini logo, which is epic. As Charles put there in the chat. But on your question, what moment makes us cry? I have one cop out, and then I have one that's slightly more real. The cop out one I'm gonna put is honestly the final trailer for episode 9. That to this day, if I put it on, it makes me actually tear up when the music swells after 3PO says, "Taking one last look, sir, at my friends." And then it's just all of them just charging in glory and excitement, and that it makes me emotional talking about it and thinking about it. And then in the films, though, I gotta say it's episode 8 with Luke and Yoda, we are what they grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters. And them just looking at the tree is one of the most beautiful moments, and it really just kind of hits me in my sensitive place. So, all right, I was vulnerable. What about you, losers? What do you think?
Where exactly is your sensitive place? Is that like around the left nipple? I mean, where exactly is that?
That's my secret, Corey. My entire body is a sensitive place.
Oh man, there's only one scene in all of Star Wars that absolutely gets me every single time, and it gets me like pretty hard. Like the first time I saw it, I like ugly cried, and that was in Rogue One, in the scene where Jin's father like is speaking the message to her, like where he's like, my entire life has been a waste, like every moment, the only thing that's kept me going is like knowing that you were out there somewhere, wondering if you were alive. Oh my god, that monologue, it keeps flashing back to Felicity Jones, and she's like getting really, really emotional, and then she just hits the floor at the end. I cry every single time watching that scene because it hits so freaking hard. I absolutely love that.
That's a beautiful one. And I'll also tack on the your father would have been proud of you, Jin, at the end of it with her and Cassian.
Oh man,
but
that
I think
was good.
It works because of that, because like those two moments together. All right, Wes, bring us home. What else?
Mine is probably when Jabba the Hutt bites the head off of that poor.
It spits it.
Terrible.
It spits it at the gong.
At the gong.
Dong.
He had so much to live for.
Oh my god.
No, but really, it's not so much a scene as it is every time the original Star Wars theme plays, especially in A New Hope, when he looks out over the twin suns going down.
Binary
sunsets. That perfect theme that plays. You just feel it up into your throat a little bit, and then you push it back down because
it's accurate.
Yeah. So many freaking beautiful moments in all of this. Let's see, looking in the chat here, we got a couple here. What do we got? Oh, Charles says Han saying, "Hey kid," in Rise of Skywalker. Great choice.
That's pretty good.
Cheryl agrees that's an ugly cry moment. Oh, Charles is also another great one. The "You Were My Brother, Anakin" from Revenge of the Sith.
Gotta be.
Hits
just
super hard. Yep. John Dutch Vander, episode 1, when Anakin walks away from his mom and just with the scared boy walking away. That's great. Charles again. Oh God, Rogue One, y'all. Bay's walking into the firefight after we lose Chirrut.
Oh, that was a good one. Damn.
Oh, and then God, these are just gonna keep hitting me. Meg has one. Rey igniting the Skywalker lightsaber at the end of Force Awakens. That's freaking powerful. Chewie, we're home from Heather. Yeah, just everyone's feeling these right now. Oh my gosh, yeah, lots of emotional moments. Adrian, thank you for putting us on this emotional journey. And thank you to all of you in the chat for making me feel a lot of things. And I'm going to try to take that emotion and throw it into our new segment that we are now doing for the third week. This week, nope, that's the actual one. The Star Wars Weekly Roundup. That's right. This week, we got a couple cool things for you. Just like the last 2 weeks, I'm going to start this off with the book review. This week, I'll be looking at The Art of the Mandalorian. This is a book from Abrams that is coming out December 1st. Like, essentially, all of these Star Wars art books before it is written by Phil Sostak with a foreword by Doug Chiang. And I'm going to talk to you guys for a little bit if you've read the art books and if you haven't. If you've read the art books before, you already know what they're bringing to the table with Phil. It's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. It's a lot of concept art, and you are not going to be disappointed. One thing that I really loved about this book, and I'm going to try to maneuver it around the microphone here, is just how much art is in this. Because, y'all, this is the entire first season of The Mandalorian in an art book. There's a chapter for every single episode. So as opposed to just one film, right? You're getting an entire season of content and concept drawings and descriptions. Like, look at this beautiful stuff right here. This is one of my favorite pages. I'm going to get it on the camera nicely. This was an original concept when Boba Fett right there was still a part of it. When they were thinking he might be the lead. And Phil and the rest of them, Dave Filoni obviously has a bunch of quotes in here. And Jon Favreau, they go back to the beginning of the show in its conceptual stages when it was thought to be like an underground Coruscant show with bounty hunters on the side. And then it became more Mando focused. And then was Boba going to be the protagonist? And they take you through all the steps of the show's creation that we all have heard rumors about, right? We all have heard like, oh, well, I heard it was this. And then we watch Star Wars Gallery and we're like, okay, I get a little more. This takes you step by step through the process of making the show. And it has more art than any of these books I've ever seen before. Because, you know, we got all those really cool concepts at the end of each episode that everyone wigged out over. This is that, but in an entire freaking book. It has more costumes than I've seen before in any other one of these. Like, every single character went through such an exhaustive design process. And you get your awesome character models of people like Grief Karga, of people like the Client. There's a whole thing about designing the child. All the Mando armor, different kind of combinations, all the stormtroopers, like just the pure volume of things you're getting in this book is really astounding. And I love it because it's a combination of Filoni acting as producer, creator, and writer, Favreau acting as writer and producer, Doug Chiang being like, yeah, I worked on the Phantom Menace and all these things. And this time we had about half the budget, about a third of the time, and needed to fill like 3 times as much content space. So it really just kind of puts in perspective what a freaking feat The Mandalorian is. You know, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like we forget sometimes just how incredible it is that this show even exists. And I want to show you guys also one more page. If nothing else, look at this. I mean, come on. It's a giant spread of the child in all its beauty and all its glory. Seriously, I could go on and on and on and on about everything this book has. But if you loved the concept drawings at the end of the Mandalorian episodes, if you love the stories behind the scenes of how things were created, if you want to see the stages of design and hear from all different art departments about what went into making them, how the timetables worked, what it was like working on this type of level for the first time ever in history, you got to pick this up without question. I mean, you're going to get more gorgeous visuals than you could ever think about. And this is from Abrams Books, who I will say thank you. They did send this to me, full disclosure. It's coming out in December. Holiday season. I mean, is there a better thing to do than get the people you love Star Wars books, or better yet, pretend that's what you're doing and keep it for yourself? So, The Art of the Mandalorian, technically season 1 is going to be out coming in this December. It is a must-have for any fan of the show. And even if you maybe have been a little lukewarm on some of the previous art books, you cannot beat the amount of concept design you're getting with this volume. So highly recommend. It's probably my favorite one out of the ones I've seen so far, from Solo, The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, and this. They've really outdone themselves. And Art of the Mandalorian, get on it. All right, what do you think, guys? Did I pitch you? Are you going to get it? Do you want it now?
It looks super thick. Look at the size of that thing.
It's a thick ass boy.
There it is.
It is thick. Yeah, it's a gem. So pick it up. Yutini.com. We got a link for it. All your Star Wars reference book needs. Additionally, on the Star Wars Weekly Roundup, y'all, we mentioned it last week, but a couple of us watched the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, and I just wanted to give a couple minutes to it. Corey, I know you watched it. What did you think of this new entry into the Star Wars canon? Not really? Maybe. Corey, do we have you? Oh no!
I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry. Very confusing if this is like what exactly role this has in canon, because they did say previously that everything that happened going forward is canon, and technically this happened. And is it canon? Did Rey go into the? Let's see here. Actually, how much do we want to spoil about this? Has everybody watched the holiday special? It's not been very long. Wes, you haven't yet.
I haven't, but y'all don't care.
Minor
due to me, right?
Minor spoilers ahead. Does Rey go into the world between worlds? It certainly kind of seems like it.
I think at the end of the day, if you're looking at a Lego holiday special of Star Wars and being like, this may not mesh up with the canon timeline, then maybe have a glass of eggnog and breathe for a second.
Yeah,
because
that's
right. It's a time travel story, essentially. This was in the trailer for it, so I think we can spoil that.
Yes, that's true.
There's a time travel element where Rey gets to essentially go through and meet Jedi and Sith and characters from all over the galaxy, from all the different eras. There's some hilarious Kylo Ren stuff, and I honestly, guys, I was surprised at how meta they went with it.
It was really good. Like they openly made fun of the old holiday special a lot. Like they made fun of a lot of the really goofy scenes in the films. Young Luke was hilarious. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like it was really fun. I teared up during one scene. I can't remember what it was, but there was a scene that made me tear up. It's a freaking kids Lego show. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was really neat kind of seeing it all come together.
Yeah, I mean, have fun with it. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it. It's 40 minutes. It'll make you happy. Get the ones you love together in your house and just throw it on. I honestly, I think it might be a fun annual tradition of watching the fun holiday special instead of wanting to gouge your eyes out at the old holiday special.
How dare you?
All right, guys. Next week, Wes is going to defend the holiday special. And
let me. Big Jefferson Starship fan here.
It's so bad. It's so
the only
bad.
problem with the Lego holiday special, guys, I'll admit, is that there were not enough sex VRs compared to the old one. So really ahead of their time with that
no
one.
dancing nude Twi'leks in this one, unfortunately.
Jeez.
Spoilers there. And let's finish up this weekly roundup with another cool announcement that we got. Not book related, but very related to what's been going on in Youtini lately. If you're a fan of Youtini Game Night, you've been seeing a bunch of us, me and Andrew last week playing some Star Wars Squadrons. And when Star Wars Squadrons came out, they're like, oh yeah, complete game, no DLC. We're not doing anything like that. And then this week they said, oh no, we're gonna add a B-wing and a TIE defender. So, oh my God, we're getting B-wings.
Yes, that's incredible. I'm surprised. The game was only $40, brand new. So
yeah. Well, actually, it's on sale right now through Black Friday. I think for like $17.
Wow,
no kidding.
That's fantastic.
Go get it. $17. Guys, flying a B-wing is gonna be nuts.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Like that's gyroscopic twisting.
Yeah.
And the balancing is cool. And I gotta say, one of the neat things about this announcement was that the developers were like, yeah, we weren't gonna do this. And then we saw the love for the game and how much people really had fun with it. And we listened to what they wanted, we listened to their comments, and we decided we could make this. And let this be a lesson to us, Star Wars community, okay? Like, if we love a thing and we are kind human beings, sometimes we get good things.
That's right.
So I just thought that was really cool that they were very blunt about that. Like, no, we were done. And then people were nice.
Maybe we get more DLC content after. Maybe we get like High Republic ships placed after this whole
Wow.
this whole
Oh,
thing comes out next year.
speaking of my sensitive areas there, Wes. Oh my goodness. That'd be amazing. But shout out to the devs. That's a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And it's gonna be free. It's coming November, December. That's so cool. And again, if you guys want to play Squadrons with us, check out those Yutini game nights. Jump into the Star Wars gaming chat Discord channel. People are throwing up their EA IDs and party invites and all that good stuff. And that, my friends, is this week's Star Wars Weekly Roundup. Transition. Keep that in. And of course, if you're looking to buy some books and help out this show, head over to Yutini.com. Our beautiful new releases page kept up to date by Frank. We love you, buddy. The High Republic novels, which we're about to talk about, are less than a month and a half away, y'all. Light of the Jedi, January 5th. A Test of Courage, January 5th. Into the Dark, February 2nd. And the Star Wars Insider Fiction Collection, Volume 1, March 23rd. And, of course, The Art of the Mandalorian coming in early December. I believe December 2nd. I should have put that in the outline. All good stuff. All great things coming up. And, of course, if you want your Youtini merch, Youtini.com/merch. Use promo code POV15 through November 30th for 15% off. That's POV15. All right. We are going to show you a little bit of that merch now so you can remember what you're buying. And then we're going to come back and talk all about the Light of the Jedi preview we got from Del Rey. But look at these merch things. Joxy, you have outdone yourself with this collection. I can't wait to buy a bunch. And I love you. I hope you're having a good day. All right, everybody. Last week, we brought up the fact that Del Rey was going to publish. I said preview and publish. My mouth didn't know what word to say. So it
Publish. I mean,
publish.
that's how
Publish
they announced it basically. So it works.
Yeah, we're going to
Publish.
publish it. The first 8 full chapters of Light of the Jedi, the first novel of the High Republic by Charles Soule. And they're all out now. Before we get into them, we're going to go chapter by chapter and just talk. Guys, what does it mean to you fundamentally that Del Rey was confident enough to publish for free the first 8 chapters of a book that is launching their biggest publishing initiative in
Ever.
a decade?
Maybe ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe ever. What did that say?
I mean, certainly ballsy. Certainly ballsy.
Yeah.
Like, part of me wonders if it was maybe a little bit about because of the publishing schedule, like, and how it got kind of shifted around because of COVID. And like, this book is probably totally ready and has been ready for a while. Because originally, were they always set to come out in January?
No. It was going to be either. I think it was
In
at
fall.
August. It was like at Celebration.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's probably when it would have been released. They probably would have given it away at Celebration. Yeah, so I mean, I guess they were just super confident about it. They were willing to give us some chapters to kind of build some publicity around it. And a good move, too. I mean, these are really, really good chapters. Like, started off really, really strong. Light of the Jedi so far is really fantastic.
Yeah. Wes, what did you think when you first heard, all right, you're getting the first X percentage of this book for free? Read it.
I think that they may have thought we were forgetting about these books that were coming out.
Oh,
They
great
kept
point.
pushing it out and like, let's give them a taste. And for me, I didn't know what I was getting into. Like, so we're doing the first 4 chapters, and like, as you had previewed last week, you said it was just a time of peace. And I was like, what are we going to talk? Like, all right, I guess it sounds interesting to read Time of Peace. Bleh. But hot damn, these 4 first chapters.
They're
I mean,
really good.
I loved it.
Yeah, and one like small detail I want to kind of shout out Del Rey for is so the site that these are hosted on, like the Del Rey version of the site is the Penguin Random House website. It's sites.prh.com/High Republic. It's a free access. I mean, it's the Penguin Random House website, and it's clean. The interface is super clean. Like it really lends itself extremely well to a phone or an iPad or a device you're reading on. I read this on my Kindle earlier, or my Kindle Fire earlier, that I bought for Marvel Unlimited, by the way, Star Wars comics on Marvel Unlimited.
Ooh.
And it's just, there's nothing on there. It's the cover. Underneath it says add to cart, and then there's text, and it's just all 8 chapters that they release. So like, I really appreciate the simplicity, and like, they very well could have uploaded this on some really crappy database website or like the Medium or something dumb like that. So I'm glad that it was so easy to read. So you got to check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah, the accessibility is super key about this, because we did get the first chapter like a couple months ago. They released the whole first chapter through IGN. And then the second chapter, I think, was released on IO9 or something like that.
Yeah.
All ad-driven sites, right? Which means you're getting money for this. And I think you're totally right, Corey. It was really cool of them to put it on their site where there's no ads. Like, they're not getting ad revenue from these clicks. They're like, no, this is legit for free.
Right. And,
like,
and I don't really want any.
this.
I don't want any commentary either, right? I just want to read the chapters.
Yeah.
Like there's whenever they put them on these sites, they're like blah 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 blah. This is the new thing. It's coming out. Blah blah. It's just like all hyped, and it's like it's fake hype to me, because sites like IGN and IO9, they don't give a shit about Star Wars. Like.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Now, you know who does give a shit about Star Wars is Meg Dowell, who does our write-ups about the extras when they come out. So definitely read those.
Exactly. And
we
there's
love
just
you,
not a lot of filler text. So I appreciate that.
So I'm gonna echo what you guys have been saying it a little bit here. I was really blown away by them putting these 4 out. I think you're both right. I think that they were confident with what they had, and Wes, I think you are right too, that they thought they were getting forgotten about, because originally the High Republic was going to come out before the Mandalorian season 2. So you wouldn't have to contest with that hype. And now, like, they're coming right after the season, but Mandalorian commands such a large audience. I think they're like, hey, let's make sure people remember, these books are going to come out in January. And I'm going to echo you all as well by saying, oh my gosh, these were cool. Charles Soule is one of those writers that we have lauded with his comics work in Darth Vader and the new Star Wars series. I know he's written prose before, but I have not read his original novels to this point, which, oh my God, that's going to change, because, let's dive in. Let's dive into these. We've already said we love them blanket wise, but we're going to go through each chapter and talk about them individually. Next week, we'll go through chapters 5 through 8 and just kind of tell you what we thought. Spoilers ahead for these 4 chapters. It is a little unorthodox of a structure. They're kind of vignette-y chapters in a way. So the spoilers, the really big spoiler happens at the beginning of the first chapter. So if you haven't read it, pause this show right now, go to the site, check it out. They're pretty short, honestly, as far as chapters go. And then come back and listen to us geek out about Star Wars, The High Republic, Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule, Chapter 1. So in this first chapter, we meet Captain Hedda Cassett, who is the captain of the Legacy Run, this giant transport ship going through hyperspace, taking tens of thousands of people away to what they hope is a better life. We learn about things like the Malastair Sullus Joint Task Force the captain was a part of. We find out, quote, no one really understands hyperspace right now. We know there are more than 9,000 people on board just trying to get through the day, including kids playing ball, who are just bored, who just can't wait to get to their new lives. And then something goes wrong. The captain notices that, quote, hyperspace looked sickly, and suddenly there are obstacles within the hyperspace lanes themselves. The captain then has to take control of the entire ship. She tries to fly it like a speed ship, like a pilot that she is. She almost gets it under control, but she doesn't. And at the end of the first chapter of Light of the Jedi, the great disaster we've been hearing about for over a year now happens. The ship disintegrates, falls out of hyperspace, sending thousands of missiles essentially all across the galaxy. And that's the beginning of the novel.
Yeah.
Like, hot damn, guys.
I know. Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. Like, I really like this, the tension in this too. Every chapter begins with like chapter 1, title of the chapter, X hours to impact, and it's like, so is this the would you consider this a prologue or no?
I would. I mean,
Maybe
technically,
not.
it
This
I
is
would
chapter
consider
1.
it a Yeah, I mean, it is chapter 1 technically. I would consider it a prologue to the story itself. You know.
Yeah, it certainly feels like a prologue. Like this whole so and so hours to impact or minutes to impact is awesome. And this first story was great, man. Like it's like there's so the first 4 chapters are like 3 or like 4 little mini stories about different people experiencing the very beginnings of this quote unquote great disaster, like from the beginning, which we don't really know what it is yet, right?
Yeah, we're getting the idea that there was something in hyperspace, which is wrong. Like, and we also get the idea that this is 200 years before Star Wars, right? I love how much lore he's put into these. Even this first chapter, like hyperspace wasn't as clean as it was when we see it. Like, it's still a bit mysterious. There's still some things we don't understand, and there's some kind of obstacle either put into hyperspace or something like that happened, and this ship tearing apart is the disaster, because when stuff flies out of hyperspace lanes, it's going at such an intense velocity that it destroys almost everything on impact, which we're going to see in the next few chapters.
Is that the disaster?
As far as I understand.
I wasn't really clear about that. Like, so you're saying, like, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying the ship that sort of breaks up in this first chapter is what everybody's seeing in the rest of the chapters? Because I didn't get that impression. I got the impression that
that's 100% what I'm getting.
I got the impression that something is in the hyperspace lane, and like all the little dots and stuff on everybody's sensors are more of that, whatever that thing was in the hyperspace lane.
Wes?
So I didn't put that together, but when you were talking about it, Garrett, piecing it together like that makes sense.
It does.
So the ship not being able to hold itself together as she barely dodged whatever that was in the hyperspace lane and broke apart. All those were the pieces that are going. That makes sense.
It does make sense.
It wasn't laid out much like I like it to be. Like I need some child to be there, be like, so that's what happens whenever it breaks apart in hyperspace.
Yes,
I need that. So thank you, Eric, for being that person for me.
Hey, you know what? I do what I can, and I also want to point out, Soule we will never see this captain character again, right? So the amount of talent it takes to begin the first chapter of the first book of your initiative with who we think is the main character, to all of a sudden kill them at the end of the first chapter and never see them again.
I know.
Like, this captain had more character development than some full novels.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Very Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and it was very.
Yeah.
I
my God, yeah.
I gotta hand it to Charles Soule too. He's a very like I don't know how to. He uses a lot of imagery in his writing. Like it's a very visual medium. Like I can definitely see like the comic book experience in here, because like he really does paint a really good epic picture. And like this one of these last lines in here where it's like, it says, "Captain, Lieutenant Bowman said, it's been in the bridge ripped open." It's like, shit, like it just hits hard. Like it's just very action packed and stuff. I really like his writing style, man.
Well, and that's what I noticed. If you look in, I believe every chapter, we'll hit the next 3, and I'll see if this remains true. I believe all of them end on a line of dialogue that's cut off, at least the first 3.
Interesting.
Because that's the reality of what would happen. Like, you don't get to finish your sentence in your thought, and then something happens to you. Like, if you're in the middle of a crash, like, you don't know the timing. It's not pretty. It's not clean. It's a disaster. Like, it's ripping apart. You're in the middle of a conversation, and then you're atomized. Like, and that last line of she died not knowing if she had saved anyone at all.
Interesting.
Oh, jeez.
That's harrowing.
Yeah,
possibly had
is.
locked away like children from their families if they weren't in their pods, I guess. They were in the common area, just scratching at the walls like, let me in! And then just gets
I know, sucked into space. Oh my God, it is
chaos.
So scary.
I was telling y'all earlier, like it was like, time of peace. I was like, I don't know if I really want to read this. But it starts with chaos, and I love it. I love it.
And I mean, and even the way he writes her dialogue when she's like, "You can do it, old gal. We're a couple of cranky old ladies, that's for sure. But we've both got a lot of life to live. I've taken damn good care of you, and you know it. I won't let you down if you won't let me down." Like, damn, I love her. Like,
I know.
And she's gone.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I know. She's like a really cool character, like military background, like really cool. Really cool.
And
Also,
Eric, does that remind you of Will Lark talking to his
Yes, it does. You know what? Oh, a pilot that talks to her ship and is like, "Come on, old girl." And I love that it's like she did not fail her ship; the ship failed her. Like, he is writing these people even post mortem with such honor and reverence.
Yeah, right.
Like, and this is a character this isn't an Owen.
That's right.
This is the care that Soule takes with his characters, and damn. All right,
Yeah.
chapter 1.
Yeah, the ship was really cool too. It very. I was
Yes, I
definitely.
love that.
I was picturing like the cargo ship from Force Awakens that Han Solo and Chewie had. Is really what was in my
Oh
head.
yeah.
Yeah, the design of it. Again, putting this much design into something that is only going to last for a couple pages, I think also shows the dedication of his writing style. You know, like you could just, it's the prologue. We'll get through it. We know we got to get to the main characters. No, everyone is fully fleshed out. This ship is fully fleshed out. The captain, the interactions, so that when the disaster hits, you're already feeling it.
Yeah.
And I really, really love that.
Oh, one
So
more
it's-
thing to point out: the
Yes,
chancellor, the new chancellor, or the chancellor of this era, is Chancellor Soule. So we know we have a name of the chancellor on Coruscant right now. So we have that.
Also, the whole intro to the book in general, it's got a lot of really pretty hard hitting information about like the state of
Yes.
the galaxy, and that we should probably talk about a little bit, which is pretty cool. Like, it talks about your time of the High Republic, a peaceful union of like-minded worlds where all voices are heard. Like, it's very idealistic. Visionary Chancellor Lena So, I guess.
Yep.
She's on Coruscant. Just the language here is like the elegant city world of Coruscant. Like, I don't know if I would use
Yeah.
the word elegant to describe the Coruscant that we know. Like,
No, it's way too busy. This is it's beautiful stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like, and it's talking. It is full of hope and light already, and it gets even more so as we go further on in the book. But he does a really good job. You're right at interspersing lore of this time period, which we'd never seen, like those preview boxes that went out a couple of weeks ago. You know, with all the previews of the books. Someone asked, "Is there an order we should read them in?" And Soule was like, "Not really, but Light of the Jedi is kind of intended to set up the universe."
right.
And from this chapter, I'm like, oh, I can totally see why. Like, even things from like she started out flying an Incom Z-24, a fighter everyone called a buzzbug. I'm like, great, now I know what that is.
Yeah.
Like it's casual thing, like the way like the Malastare Solus Joint Task Force, like all these things
Perfect.
he just drops in there.
Yeah, and I would quite frankly, I've said this before on the show, I think, that I really enjoy reading about background characters that are not, I don't particularly love reading about like our main hard-hitting characters. I love the expansion of the expanded universe. I said that 1,000 times on this show before. So I would much rather read about random characters that have their own original story that just exist in the Star Wars universe, which is such a mind-blowing concept. You can have we have such a huge universe that we can have this random character who has a small backstory and history and flies the ship, and it's like she just exists in this universe. It's crazy. It's so fun. So this it's like it sets it up really, really well. This introduction talks about the outer rim and the inner rim and the middle rim. It seems like the Republic is trying to really unite everybody for whatever reason. They're trying to get the representation for the outer rim worlds, which, as we know, is a bit of a perhaps lost cause given the size of the galaxy. And it seems like it's been tried 1,000 times. It's never really worked.
Yeah.
But it seems like, and also there's like maybe. What is this, like space station or something? What's it called?
The Starlight Beacon.
The Starlight Beacon. What the heck is that? It's like a forward operating base about like getting representation into the Outer Rim, and the Jedi are like facilitating this like diplomacy, which is very interesting.
Yeah. So that's one of the interesting things in the High Republic sampler. That's on NetGalley right now, where you can read the beginnings of Claudia Gray's novel Into the Dark and Justina Ireland's novel Test of Courage. They talk about some of the Jedi in that novel are going to the Starlight Beacon for like this grand ceremony opening it, and it is definitely Chancellor Soule's like big expression of connectiveness
Yeah.
And on actually, then I want to touch on chapter 2 real quick. Let's go to that. That takes place in the Outer Rim in the Hetzel system, where we hang out for the next 3 chapters. Because in the first paragraph, our background character, as you said, Corey, Scantech 3rd class, Mervyn Getter.
I love that. 3rd class in parentheses every single time it says his name.
Such a great, because then you know exactly what kind of guy he is.
He's 3rd class.
He's trying to date this. Yeah, he's trying to date this Twi'lek as a Mirialan. But what difference did it make? Quote, "We are all of the Republic," Chancellor Soule's big slogan, which is like, cool. That sets the political tone for this era. Is the Chancellor is trying to say every single person, no matter mid-rim, core worlds, outer rim, we are all the Republic. Quote, "Attitudes were evolving. The possibilities were endless." Like, it's a really cool, idealistic time.
Yeah, it totally is. And
I guess
Marilyn is what exactly is Marilyn again? Is that the
Luminara.
Oh yeah, Luminara. Yeah, that's right.
The diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The green people.
You know what I realized reading this? I didn't realize how not idealistic the Republic time is. Like the Galactic Republic, like and the Empire. I'm like, wow, there actually is not that much.
How far has everyone fallen? Like, I also really appreciate the independence of the Jedi. It talks about that a little bit in I think maybe even the introduction, I guess, is when it was talking about that. Like, the Jedi seem to not be at the beck and call of the Senate, which is certainly the case in the prequels, right? Like, the Jedi seem to be doing their own thing. Like, there's no mention of politics whatsoever outside of the Chancellor having this sort of idealistic kind of mindset. But like, the Jedi are out there doing their own thing, and it even says that all the little concaves of Jedi that are trying to unite the Outer Rim don't answer directly to the Jedi Temple, which is very interesting. Like, they all just they're more unified, and they're sticking to their code, and they have like a way that they do things that they all can do independently of each other without this bickering amongst the council that Anakin hates so much. Like, it's very anti-big government.
Yeah. And I want to hit on something Spice Den just said in the chat, which I feel the exact same way. He says, Chapter 2 was so good. You guys mentioned how much you connect with the captain in Chapter 1. I think Soule did an even better job of making you care about the character in Chapter 2. And I am going to say I completely agree. With Mervyn Getter, I loved this dude. This guy was working a day job. He was just kind of going through the motions, seeing people go places that he wanted to go. And his whole day, his entire day, was focused around asking out the bartender he sees after work. And I was so invested in him. And he was like gonna get so excited to get through his shift and finally ask her on a date. Oh, can I go to the moon and can I get off early? Can I go talk to her? And then the great disaster happens. And I'm like, this is what it is. It is this giant event that is ruining tragically a bunch of actual people's lives. And I think Soule did such a great job making me honestly love this dude and root for him, who, just like the captain, I'm never going to see again, because it ends with another cutoff sentence of him getting obliterated. Like, literally, he writes, "A gout of flame and the anomaly vanished, along with the monitoring station, its 2 Scantechs, and all their goals, fears, skills, hopes, and dreams. The kinetic energy of the object atomizing everything it touched in less than an instant." Holy shit.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
chaos. Amazing.
And like, I care more about this dude getting a date than like some of the main plot lines in Star Wars. Because he wrote him so well.
He threw in some details about the newness of Bacta, of using that particular
great point,
medical genius, because they just started growing Bacta in place of Juven. Juven was like the medical I guess, I don't know, salve or liquid that they put on, just like Bacta would be, but they're transitioning to Bacta. You would think that Bacta was used all the time, like from way back when, but I guess apparently it's starting, or it's
to make its way out to the outer rim or something like that. Because it does sound like they were using local agricultural products, because he makes such a point about like the Hetzel system had nothing worth attacking. Right? This chapter and the next chapter really focus on like, we're just farm people. Like they're so confused when the disaster starts to happen. because it feels like an attack. But then we watch our guy Mervyn go through the motions of like, we're too small.
Right.
We wouldn't be attacked. We only have plants. We have agriculture.
Right.
What in the world? Space? Like, just how foreign the idea of conflict is something I've never read in Star Wars before.
That's true. That's very true.
And I really love that he's like, I need to get to my date. What in the world is going on? Like, he's like, I loved Hetzel's biggest claim to fame, which was a homeworld of a famous gill singer named Aloria Days, who could vibrate her vocal apparatus in such a way to sing melodies in 6-part harmony. And now she lived on Alderaan, quote, with the fancy people. Like, it's such a fun look into someone's head who, again, doesn't matter to the galaxy, but he matters to this book and he matters to us readers.
Yeah, and he has a job that directly ties into like how it's all going to fit together. Like I really enjoyed that the first chapter is about this captain, and her ship is. So I looked it up on Wikipedia. I forgot that they told us this now before, what the Great Disaster was. It was a whole bunch of ships got pulled out of hyperspace for an unknown reason, and like, I guess they smashed into stuff, and it caused a lot of debris that went into collision courses and stuff. So there's not just this one ship that we saw. It's a assload of ships. It's a lot of ships, right? So that makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's like, why would one ship be able to destroy these planets? It didn't really make a lot of sense. So,
I also love Spice Dad saying Hetzel is a Midwestern flyover state. Confirmed.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So the first chapter is like the captain and how her role is. And the second chapter are these scan techs, and they're like watching this unfold. It's very much like disaster movie-esque, right? Like you see it kind of happen all at once. And the third chapter is all the drama that's happening, the Jedi coming in and trying to help, and it's good.
Yeah, let's go right to that third chapter, because this again, like the first two, we get a whole different protagonist because the first two got atomized to death. The third one is Minister Eka or Ika, who is a ruler of a peaceful planet, and we get to see just how his day is going. That's like, okay, something weird's going on. Just I don't know. We're trying to get in contact with people. It's still kind of calm, but starting to get a little freaked out. And I found it interesting because this chapter really showed the pitfalls of peacetime. Like, they didn't have any weapons to shoot down debris because they just harvest. Like, why would we need something like that? Why would we need space weapons? And I think it was also really important because, you know, it had people that finally saw what was happening. We saw the things on the scanners. And this quote really chilled me. I don't know if you guys remember it like I did. I said, it was like a massive gun had been fired at the Hetzel system. Like, just that helplessness of watching your whole system get attacked, knowing you're in charge of it and knowing you can't stop it.
Yeah.
Like, how helplessness isn't something we usually get in Star Wars. We get people that are heroes. We get people with plans of action. And this guy is like, get everyone on the transports. I'm going to stay behind, and they're probably all going to die, but I'm going to tell them that they won't.
Right.
Because they
need
need
pretty rough.
something.
And it's almost like the Titanic, right? There's not enough ships for planetary evacuation.
Yeah, right.
Wow. And knowing that he had cut security funds in making the best decision possible at the exact time that he had to make that decision was maybe could have been the right decision, but now you're seeing that 1% chance where it all went wrong. It went wrong.
Right.
And
yeah,
it's where they chaos breaking down at the spaceport, people just inflating ticket prices, say you can't get out of here because we just, increased ticket prices to 300 400% to get out, and only the wealthy can take off from the spaceport. Crazy.
But and then again, at the same time, I love how it showed the general reaction to catastrophe. I thought it was very honest, because you had some people that just ignored it. They were like, it's fake. I'm going to keep going on with my day. You had some people racing to spaceports. You had some people going to bunkers. Like, I thought it was a really good look at how people actually react to disaster events. Like, some people don't care at all. Some people take it very seriously. And I love that no matter what, this minister gave that address and said, quote, "We are all Hetzel. We are all the Republic." And I'm like, oh, that's the vibe of this. That's this era right here. that is it is all about unity. It is about group strength and about like we don't know what's gonna happen, but we're in it together. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, after 2020, this chapter kind of hit a little different.
Oh yeah, it's very reminiscent of hurricanes in the Gulf right now.
Yes,
People staying behind
oh
or
my
people
God.
leaving, and it's almost like trying, and not so many words, just trying to provide a lesson. Like, sometimes you need to leave, and sometimes leaving is the best thing. But if you don't have the infrastructure behind it to actually be able to leave, then you have this kind of chaos going on.
Right. And I mean, to have that one vessel that holds, quote, 582 people, it's an exact number, which is always a great way to make us feel something. They get off the ground and they achieve most of a kilometer before the engines exploded. And then the fireballs rained down on other
Scary,
people.
dude.
For real.
Scary.
It's
Like,
so
seriously.
Scary.
It's like this is like the Challenger. You're watching the Challenger explosion right now. Like, it's terrifying.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
But then it ends with like one of my favorite moments of Star Wars this year. It's not a Yutini nomination this year. I'm going to say that because it doesn't come out till January. But the quote of, I'm getting a signal. What signal? I'll put it through. And words crackled into the air. One of the technicians' comm droids broadcasting the message out into the office. A woman's voice. Just a few words. But they brought with them, yes, the one thing they needed at that moment. This is Jedi Master Avar Kriss. Help is on the way. That one thing... hope. That's Star Wars. That's Star Wars.
This is the Jedi of this era too. I love this chapter. It sets it up beautifully. Man, the Jedi
They
are
gave me chills reading.
they're interesting, high and mighty, glorious, like legendary, like
We're on our way. We got you.
every little detail about the Jedi, like in this chapter, like just support this knight in shining armor, Knights of the Round Table, like peak Jedi. They're all freaking arrogant as hell, full of themselves. Like I love it. I love it. It's very interesting. Like the Jedi that's on the bridge, I guess it's her, Avar Kriss. She's on the bridge or whatever, and she says she's coming from the celebration or the meeting or the opening of the space station. What's it called again? Something
Starlight Beacon.
The Starlight Beacon, right? So she's coming from that. So she's wearing like this formal gown. She has this like cloak thing on with like it's clipped onto her clothes with this giant Jedi Order logo thing on her. Yeah, that she says it's like the sun and the Jedi logo or whatever, and she says it's too flashy for this mission. She just like kicks it off on the bridge. It falls into a puddle on the bridge, right?
So
like,
cool.
How melodramatic! And then she sits and meditates on the bridge and floats into the air. And what does it say? It says there's a funny line in here. What does it say?
Yeah, this is in here. I'll see. It's at the end, near the end of chapter 4 here. It says what does it say?
It says
the crew
around
took
the
notice.
bridge, the crew of the Third Horizon took notice. They nodded or smiled faintly or simply felt hope bloom before returning to their urgent task. Like, what the hell, man? Like,
Well, and here's my question. I want to actually real quick before I ask my question. Spice Den also makes a great point. Blowing up the chat as always. We love you, dude. Because it's cool that the leader saw the Republic as being as important as his own system. Try imagining the senators in the prequel era talking like that.
we just didn't really see it, man.
Yep.
Like,
love that.
I love that. I really love the change in pace. Like, it seems like
Yes.
the state of the galaxy has been the same forever. Like, it always
Yep.
has. And Old Republic was the same. Like, it's even like Sith versus Jedi. It's always been this bickering senator things. I really enjoy seeing a new like geopolitical climate in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And like the Jedi are a little different. The politics are a little different. I'm really excited to see this.
I want to ask the two of you this question. That thing that happens at the end of chapter 4, where she just sits down and she floats in her meditation, and people feel hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's battle meditation?
Perhaps.
Like, is she affecting the fleet, the ship?
Maybe. Could be.
I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. I
Yeah.
think maybe she's trying to reach out to see.
That's from the Legends universe. If you read the old books, which we love, go buy them at Yutini.com.
Maybe she's trying to reach out to see if there's anything close by. What the hell those things are? Maybe get some better intel than whatever that tech nerd was doing on the other ship that exploded.
Yeah.
It just cracks me up that she does it so out in the open, so obviously. Like, it really seems like a thing for show. Like, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Could be.
Well, and also it shows how well the Republic works with the Jedi, because she's like, the Jedi came on board and she's like, now this is my ship. Like, I'm going to take over. I'm going to lead this mission. And also there's a lot of great lore in this chapter as well. We learn about new ships the long beams. We learn about vectors, which are single passenger starfighters. Long beams are like can be flown by 3 people or 24 people. So we got new ships, things that we've never heard of before. And I really love, like you were saying, Corey, the description of Avar Kriss with reverence.
Yeah.
It's like for most of her 3 decades, she's been a member of the Jedi Order. She was a youngling, a Padawan, a Jedi Knight, and finally, ... a master.
Yeah.
Like there's weight to that. It's
I
just
know.
the way that it's on the page.
I really think that like we're gonna see the beginning of the end though in this series. Like
I think we might
in regards to the Jedi. I think we're gonna see this transition from this like revered, hopeful, idealistic Jedi community into this self-righteousness. I think we're gonna see that transition because it seems like we're already on the cusp of that. Like in this, with everybody, all their fancy robes, and even the way the ship is described as being like shiny and glorious and
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I want to like there's one paragraph I want to read is one of my favorite things that it describes the entire era of the High Republic. I think in a nutshell, it says the operation was hers. An admiral named Kronara was in command of the Third Horizon, which is the ship itself, part of the small peacekeeping fleet maintained by the Republic Defense Coalition. But he had ceded control of the effort to save Hetzel to the Jedi. There was no conflict or discussion about the decision. The Republic had its strengths, and the Jedi had theirs, and each used them to support and benefit the other. That's perfect. That is a perfect society. Like
It is.
that is the description of exactly what we're missing in the current era of Star Wars. And oh my God, they used to have it, which makes it even more tragic
Yes.
looking at the era now. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
absolutely.
God, you used to have this?
And it's all going to be completely destroyed.
That's
I love
right.
it.
Guys,
I didn't want to
This
put
is
it down.
so damn good.
I made myself put it down. Like I was like, Eric, can we please talk about all 8 chapters tonight instead of 4? Because I really just want to keep blowing through the rest of this.
well, and that's what I'm saying because we've already hit just about our hour of our show, which is why I knew we were going to. I'm like, okay, we got to split this up into 2 because we are absolutely going to. We can do a whole nother show, and we will next week go into the next few chapters. As a teaser, though, Chapter 5 starts with Bel Zettifar, which was another one of the character portraits that we loved so much. And I really loved, too, that we got so much art before all this because I can see all these people in my head.
Yes.
And I can't wait.
That's
So,
very helpful.
So, hey, guys, as we wind down our Land of the Jedi talk, first 4 chapters of the first book of the High Republic, score out of 10? How's your hype level out of 10? Let's do it that way.
Yeah, hype level. I think this is gonna be really, really good. Like I'm very optimistic about this. Like I felt about these first introductory chapters the way I felt about the Thrawn book, which I gave a perfect 10 out of 10. Right. So like I think going into this is gonna be really, really exciting. So I give it a solid 9. Solid 9.
All right. Wes, how you feeling?
Hype level before reading the chapters, not very high. Not so high. But now, after those 4 chapters and about getting ready to read the next 4, I mean, 9.5.
Yeah.
0.5 ahead of Corey's. It's got to be super high.
Yeah.
That's right. In keeping with tradition, I'm gonna blow it up to a 10. Like I was hyped about this before, but in our way of like, I really like new Star Wars content. I'm always excited, but like this quality is so good.
Yeah.
It makes me so excited, and it is. I know we said we wanted something new. I don't think I understood what that meant until we got it.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized really how different this era is until we read it, until we break it down to realize these are different times. The Jedi are different. The Republic is different. That's why the High Republic was such a big deal when it was announced. That's why it's such a big deal going forward. This is
Yes.
Even like previous Star Wars stories and legends were awesome.
Yeah.
They're still drawing on the current. This is 100% new.
I think
And
it's
stoked.
going to be enormously successful too. I think everyone's going to absolutely love it. I think the community's going to love it. I wouldn't be surprised if this really opens an entire new chapter of like Star Wars storytelling, like for a while. Like, I mean, it really could.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is successful as people hype about it the way they did the Mandalorian. I mean, look how we saw season 2 change because of the hype of season 1 of Mandalorian, right? So I mean, Disney listens to folks, right? So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a TV show or a movie or a game or beyond books and written media. Like if this is as successful as it is, it's certainly starting off really, really strong.
And I want to end this segment, and then I want to throw it to you, Corey, to talk about now a new Yutini project we teased earlier. By just saying straight up congratulations to Del Rey, to Charles Soule, to all the folks that honestly took a giant freaking risk on this era. That were like, yeah, we're gonna put all of our resources and our next 6 giant novels into a brand new part of Star Wars that no one's seen before. It's paying off in spades. It's incredible. I can't wait for it. I'm so glad we decided to randomly start a Star Wars book podcast. Because it's literally the best time in history to do it. I can't wait. Corey, we've talked about the new. We've talked about the upcoming. Tell us about a project we have now created at Yutini that talks about everything, and I do mean everything, that's come before.
Yes. So, officially launching a new podcast as part of the Yutini Podcast Network, dare I say.
At 8 podcasts, I think you do.
Yeah,
at this point.
8 podcasts, man. Crazy stuff. Let's see, I'm trying to get this pulled up here on screen share so you guys can see the cover artwork because it is glorious.
Oh, it's beautiful.
All right, let me flip this back over here. Yes, this is the Star Wars Archives. So this is a new podcast by our good friends, and I have to say, Legends genius, Trevor. He's one of our employees, our teammates in the UK. Him and Jose have put together this really cool new podcast called the Star Wars Archives. It's kind of all about really deep dives into Star Wars lore. Now, Trevor is full of so much incredible information. Him and Jose have got a really neat show. Like, basically, Jose kind of plays the role of a sort of new person to, well, not a new person, a big Star Wars fan, but talking to like somebody with all this wisdom. And it's so much fun. Like, they've got 2 episodes now. We love the first episode so much. I sent Jose a bunch of equipment. Like I was like, this has to come about. And I told you guys I was gonna tell the story of how this came about on the show.
Do.
Yeah. So briefly, Caitlin and I were going to visit. We were going to a local winery with some friends a couple months ago, and we were listening to some kind of podcast that was like, this guy was just like a super expert in something. I think it might have been something medical. I can't even remember the exact detail of what I was listening to, but I just had this light bulb moment. I was like, Trevor knows everything. Why doesn't he have an outlet for this? So, like, I didn't have cell service at the winery because it's kind of out in the boonies, but I, like, jotted down a bunch of notes, like, basically on a napkin, and, like really classic, jotted down some things and just some ideas I had, like this like fake radio show kind of thing. And I basically pitched it to Trevor a couple months ago, and, like, they just took off with it. And, like, seeing this thing go from, like, I randomly had an idea. I'm taking the credit for it. I randomly had a tiny idea of like, hey, Trevor needs an outlet. I would love to see him do these deep dive lore things, and just handing that to him and just seeing what they were able to do with it. I didn't touch it after I pitched it to him. Like, they basically pitched the idea. They came up with the artwork. They came up with the name. Trevor got Jose involved without me even knowing about it. And, like, they was like, hey, Jose's going to be my partner in this. And I was like, this is fantastic. Like, everything Jose touches on this team turns to gold, as we know.
Yeah.
So
real.
I'm very, very excited about this podcast, guys. It's very, very good. Like, they're really doing a lot of research before the episodes, and it has a very free-flowing style. Like, it's not very technical. It's just very fun to listen to. I'm incredibly excited, and congratulations to these guys for launching this thing. I don't think this is going to stay in Patreon very long. I think if you want to get in on this early, join our Patreon. The $5 tier, I believe, will get you into getting access to this thing. And I imagine this will probably push into a live show at some point because it's just that good.
And because Corey really hates paywalls making us money on things. But I also want to say one cool thing about this show, if you want to hear someone, they talk about how many Star Wars books Trevor owns on the first episode. I won't spoil it for you, but it's more than you're thinking.
It's a lot more than you're thinking. Jose, because they go through like how many books they've read, and Jose's like, yeah, I've read 20 or 30, and then Trevor's just like, it's just okay, yeah, credible. I would say he's credible.
Yeah. But the cool thing is, I want to say about this show is that it is something that unfortunately we don't see as often in the Star Wars community. It's someone that probably has literally more knowledge than anyone I've ever met, and Trevor is the most unpretentious person. He is not at all putting anyone down for not knowing things. Is not at all trying to make someone feel inferior for never reading a thing. Trevor is bringing all the knowledge with the excitement and the openness that Yutini prides itself on. Like a lot of people that have read everything, like you to know they've read everything, like you to know that like what you've read is not good enough, and it's not as welcoming.
He's the least gatekeeping
and I really
person
applaud,
I've ever met.
Yeah. So I applaud these guys for this show. Star Wars Archives, check it out. Again, the 8th podcast, along with Cafes that Heather and Meg started the other week, which is still going strong. All the other shows in the Yutini Patreon. It's wild. It is wild to see. I'm just like Timothy posted this thing on Instagram with all the pictures of all the shows that we produce, and it's really just cool that you all listen to us talk about Star Wars and make this community vibrant. And all the hosts, you like bring what you know and bring what you love to all these shows, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. And it's just freaking cool.
It is.
I love it.
It's fun.
And if you want to hear all of it, Yutini.com/Patreon until Corey decides, no, I'll put it all for free. So on that though, we do still have Bounty Hunt about the Mandalorian that's coming out every single week. We get really hyped, and that's usually me, Corey, Charles, and Wes. And there's a bunch of other stuff going on. Charlie and I have taken a little bit of a hiatus from Ghost Crew just because of real life stuff, to be quite honest. But we're coming back, going through Rebels. Cafes is still going. Legends Look Back is streaming. And there's so much more content to come. Wes. Hey, buddy.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Yutini Game Night, please?
Yutini Game Nights. It's members of the group, members of Yutini, that go in and play Star Wars video games on Twitch, whether it be Wednesdays or Fridays. It's generally up to the user themselves. But so what mainly we'll pick a Star Wars title. Squadrons has been real big in the past weeks. We saw Eric and Andrew play Squadrons, and they had a bit of a trivia night. Eric guessed my trivia question right off the bat, apparently, and I wasn't able to stay, but I heard it was hilarious.
Pink shorts, baby.
Who is the pink shorts guy? Definitely Ken Nightingale. But so coming up, we usually do Squadrons or Battlefront, Jedi Fallen Order, any kind of type of Star Wars game. So we'll stream for roughly, 2 to 3 hours. But it's live on Twitch every Wednesdays or Fridays, and we'll let you know ahead of time through the Yutini social media.
Excellent. And again, the easiest way to do that is just to subscribe or follow on Twitch. Then you'll find out when Yutini Game Night's happening. You'll find out Legends Look Back every Thursday. A shout out to our very own Cheryl Bell, who joined the boys over on Legends Look Back. The boys and Meg, to be clear, who joined Legends Look Back last week for some Thrawn talk, and I believe is coming back this week as well. Last week's show was freaking awesome. Cheryl is a goddamn naturally. Absolutely loved it. They're still talking about all things Thrawn for a little while. And the Conjure Book Club boys are still going through Kenobi every Saturday, having really nice, thoughtful discussions. And of course, those chats show up in the Patreon feed, so you can book club it. In December, they're talking about their Age of Republic comics. In January, they'll be talking about Light of the Jedi. So if you listen to this podcast, you're already a little ahead of them, because you got the first 4 chapters under your belt. The Yutini Fantasy Football League is still going. Playoffs are coming. James has a pretty solid spot at the top of the list, but the middle playoff spots are still all up for grabs. So, oh my gosh, if you want some fun, head into the Discord Sports channel and hear us all talk on Sundays, because it gets a little heated. All right, everybody. This has been such a great hyped up show. I'm so excited that we get to have this show at a time when this new publishing initiative is coming. As a final reminder, make sure you're picking up the Art of the Mandalorian book we talked about earlier in the show. Make sure you're going to read Light of the Jedi coming this January. And in the meantime, take a breath. A lot of us aren't able to see our families this Thanksgiving or this Christmas. It's a hard end to a hard year, but we're so happy to spend it with you all. And if these shows are giving you any kind of help with that, we're glad about it. And if you are happy about it, you know what? We haven't said it in a while. Head over to iTunes or something. Throw a 5-star review on there. Help other people find this show, because maybe we can spend a little light, a little joy in their lives as well. And on that, everyone, that'll do it for this week's episode of The Living Force.